Before I begin this video, I want to make one thing clear. I'm actually a huge fan of the FilmJoy channel. I think the Movies with Mikey series is incredibly insightful, I think Mikey is very funny, and his videos are also amazingly well edited as a bonus. Like, seriously, amazingly well edited. How? How does he do it? But yes, I still highly recommend checking out the channel if you haven't already. Let's begin. A few weeks ago, Mikey over at the FilmJoy channel published a video titled, Let's Talk About Thanos. In this video, he criticized Avengers Infinity War for the light in which it depicted its main villain and his actions. Now you may know, if you've seen literally any video on my channel other than this one, that I'm not a video essay guy. However, Mikey argues many of what I believe to be dangerous points in this video, and since the video is actually gaining a lot of traction, I thought it was important that I rebuttal the main ones that I disagree with. So the first criticism that Mikey levies at Infinity War is that Marvel movies are essentially made for everyone. On this basis, he faults the film for, in his own words, being unrelentingly dire, and from what I've gathered, failing at least on some level to handle its subject matter with tact. He notes that people typically walk into Disney movies with the mindset that they're about to witness something jovial, lighthearted, uplifting, and not the dire, high-stakes emotional roller coaster that was Infinity War. He repeats throughout the videos his qualms with the film's overall depressing tone.
Seeing a film wield trauma like a circus act is a little rough.
Get in the car, kids. We're going to a Disney movie.
We're just trying to be unrelenting at this point.
While I understand to an extent where he's coming from, what Mikey fails to realize is that the moment you put a moratorium on the type of dark or serious content featured in Infinity War for Disney movies or superhero movies in general, you instantly limit them to a set of restrictions that makes them even more formulaic than they already get criticized for being. What I mean by that is, just because a movie has a Disney logo on it, or just because it's part of a series that's been known to make lighter movies in the past, doesn't mean that a tonal change is never warranted. Infinity War isn't some standalone movie, it's the culmination of 10 years of storytelling, and a two-parter at that. If Marvel, through all its years of tonally diverse storytelling, hasn't merited at least one depressing cliffhanger to end on before its ultimately uplifting finale, I don't know what does. Yes, kids will inevitably end up watching superhero movies like these, but if we're not allowed to experience both the highs and lows of these characters' lives, that just makes them that much less compelling. The reason why Infinity War's tone works is not just because it's dire for the sake of being dire. It works because we've come to care about each and every one of these characters, and when they get hurt, we feel it, which is to some extent why I think you made this video, because you felt it. Not only this, but it invests us that much more in the storytelling, and we want to know what happens next as a result of that. I don't see how you can hold Marvel to task.
I'm gonna hold you to task for doing that, Marvel.
For simply not doing something that it was never obligated to do in the first place. You can only have the Avengers make 20 quips per second while battling world-ending stakes so many times.
All right, we're all clear here.
We are not clear! We are very not clear!
Now this is gonna be a good story.
As long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
It's terribly well balanced.
Well, if there's too much weight, you lose power on the swing.
You know, with the benefit of hindsight.
While having it be compelling. At a certain point, you have to change the tone up. And this movie did that well. I understand that there are types of movies that some people just don't like for example, dark movies. But to pretend that this is somehow Marvel's fault, and that they've failed us by creating a movie that's different, I'm sorry, no. And believe me, I understand that subversion of expectations isn't always a positive thing.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
But that also doesn't mean it's always a bad thing. People applauded Thor Ragnarok because it tonally rebooted what was once a boring character. People praised Captain America: Winter Soldier for tonally rebooting what was previously a boring character. This film arguably does the same, and I think that a lot of people are praising it for that very thing. But this criticism only comes second to what I believe is the most offensive one in this entire video. Okay, let's get into this one. The second point Mikey makes in this video, and the one I most vehemently oppose, is Mikey's claim that because Thanos is the protagonist, in an arbitrary attempt to get us to empathize with him, Marvel tries to justify his abuse towards Gamora with love.
This movie is an unrelenting exercise in abuse, trauma, and torture. It tries to justify, non-ambiguously, abuse with love. It's not justified from a film-making perspective to do this. You actually do have responsibilities. It's reckless filmmaking. That's why the positive movie guy is so pissed off.
The only problem with this proposition is that it's not true at all. Thanos' actions in the movie are obviously horrifying. We see him murder his own daughter in order to obtain a glowy rock that he then uses to dust half the population of the universe. Okay, that is nefarious, right? Well, the movie hardly refrains from calling it out as such.
You murdered half the planet.
A small price to pay.
You're insane. No. This isn't love.
Genocide. I'm a survivor who wants to murder trillions.
But Mikey suggests that intentional or not, the film will convey to, for example, young children being abused, that as long as their abuser loves him, what's going on is okay.
This narrative is utterly hopeless. How many young children will watch this movie sitting in a theater right next to an authority figure who abuses them? The message that that child will receive is abuse is love.
No? Everybody in the film who encounters Thanos in some way or another lets him know that his actions are reprehensible. The directors themselves, in their movie commentary, repeatedly acknowledge that Thanos is a sociopathic, manipulative abuser. So what's the problem? Well, Thanos' relationship with Gamora and how it's depicted seems to be the prime example used in this video, so we'll dissect that. One distinction of crucial importance that Mikey completely fails to make in this video is that abuse and love are not mutually exclusive. Abusive relationships are hardly ever as one note as they're depicted in this video. Abusers do often love the people that they abuse. This is a harsh reality, yes, but it's one that the movie simply doesn't shy away from exploring. Thanos abuses his children and transforms them into killing machines because he believes that it's the only way they'll survive in a universe he sees as cruel and unforgiving. Does this justify any of Thanos' actions? By show of hands? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Of course it doesn't. Thanos' decision to sacrifice his daughter, despite his love for her, is a result of his pathological alliance to this flawed idea that he is responsible for fixing the universe. Thanos is the protagonist, yes. He is written in such a way that you can empathize with his motivations, regardless of the logic of his plan, yes. But he is still the villain. And while this is a sentiment that you yourself mock in the video,
But Thanos is the bad guy.
Screams are heard echoing from the peanut bleachers like people electively trapped in a cave with a megaphone.
that doesn't make it any less true, dude. I don't mean to strawman, but I'm about to. By the criticisms you laid out, it seems like you want Thanos to be a shining paragon of virtue with infallible methods in a movie that's just as light in tone as Nacho Libre. I'm sorry, but no. Thanos is there so the Avengers have somebody to beat. The reason why they have to beat him? He is not right. He is wrong. He warrants beating. The heroes and audience alike get this. I don't know why you don't seem to. And by the way, Thanos isn't, quote, the POV character just to prove that the villain can be the protagonist. Thanos is the protagonist because he's the unifying factor for all the heroes in this movie, and it would be nigh impossible to tell the narrative from the perspective of the 50 billion other heroes featured. Oh, by the way, Mikey also criticizes Star-Lord's character, saying for some reason that he shows ownership over Gamora the whole time, as if it's wrong somehow to try obsessively to save your girlfriend from a giant grape who's threatening her life. I'm confused. What did you want his attitude to be? Okay, babe, you got this. I'll let you work out your daddy issues while I listen to some Ace Frehley. No, Peter's lost everyone. His mom, his dad, both of them. He's not wrong to adamantly try to prevent the death of the last living person in his life he truly cares about. And also he tangentially criticizes Batman for locking his villains up in an asylum where they don't receive mental health, claiming that this promulgates some sort of the sick don't deserve our help message. But no, that's not true on any level, and you also have to take into account the fact that the people in Arkham aren't just schizophrenic or depressive. They're oftentimes giant mutated crocodiles who have eaten and murdered hundreds of people. In any realistic scenario, this would warrant the death penalty, but Batman doesn't kill them and instead incarcerates them. I don't understand how you can deride his morals for that. It doesn't make sense to me. I honestly don't get what Mikey would have done to fix these supposed problems. Don't attempt to make the villain empathetic and have him be Malekith? Have his plan be perfectly logically sound so the heroes have no real reason to oppose him? Yes, the abuser won. But like I said, this is a film in a larger cinematic universe that will have a follow-up. Having them end on a cliffhanger where the villain wins just this once will make it even more satisfying when the heroes inevitably do win. I don't mind people having different opinions on majorly liked movies. In fact, I encourage it. But I also encourage the discussion of ideas, and I feel like I needed to respond to those posited in this video. I don't think Mikey made this video to be a contrarian, as a lot of people suggested. It seems like his points were genuine, Either way, I think it was important to defend the creatives at Marvel Studios who clearly weren't trying to justify the actions of their movie's villain. Like I said, if you agree with Mikey, that's totally fine. I see where he's coming from. If you're going to take away one thing from this video, it's that depicting something is not the same as justifying it. And with that, I can finally rest my voice and drink some water. Holy crap, I seriously don't know how people do these video essays. I don't know if I'll make more videos like these. If you did enjoy it, I guess let me know. But if you're already subscribed to my channel, you know that my videos usually center more around short edits and other funny videos. But I'd definitely be open to switching up my content. Once again, I do encourage you to check out Mikey. Just because I disagree with him here doesn't mean I don't think he has other great content to offer. He does. And again, his videos are infinitely better edited than most of the videos I've seen on this platform. How am I going to end this video? I always find it awkward. How about a snap? Too soon?